Namaste, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. It's Dr. Danny. Thank you so much for joining me today. We have to talk about the eclipse. This is really, really big. There's been some kind of global current events that are related to the astrology. I'm not going to touch that. I'm going to go on a purely higher timeline, spiritual vision of this eclipse because we can do this if we do this together. Um, so this eclipse is really special. It's on Saturday. It is traveling basically in a crisscross pattern across the United States, just kind of going basically from the West Coast all the way down through the Gulf of Mexico, over Mexico. And it is literally going exact right over my house, right around midday. It is going to be not a total eclipse, but what's called an annular eclipse or a ring of fire eclipse. So the moon is not quite going to obscure the sun completely. And I'll show you a picture of what that looks like. But here's the really exciting part. I'm going to go live for the first time ever on Saturday afternoon, and we're going to have an eclipse watch party from my backyard. And I want you all to come and join me. It's going to be super fun. I'm going to have the reminder out there a little bit later this week, and then we're going to go live at around 11:40 Central Daylight Time. So please join me for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. We can even chat in the comments, and then once the eclipse comes, we'll sit there and watch it together, and we'll just see how it goes. Okay. I have one more announcement that's really, really amazing. Um, my astrology course is finished, you guys. I have over 26 modules, 26 videos in this entire course. The first level is 7 modules, and that is free. It's completely free. I'm going to leave the link for you guys in the comments below and in the description. So if you want to check out how I teach, you want to learn a little bit about astrology, if you're even a little bit of an interested novice, this course will hopefully light your fire and get you going. Okay, so let me show you those couple of things first real quick, and then we'll jump into the astrology. All right, so here's where you can get the course. If you sign up for my Facebook group, Fellowship of 13 Sign Astrology, I posted this morning. You can click on this link. It'll take you right there, and you can enroll for free. And you're going to learn about the sun, the moon, everything all the way out to Pluto, including Chiron, all the houses, Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus is down here. These are your goals and objectives. So come on over here and check out this course. It's really, really exciting if you guys want to get a deeper vocabulary under your belt about astrology. All right. So I guess before I jump into the chart, let me show you what this is going to look like over my house. This is so exciting. So this is about noon, a little bit after noon on Saturday, October 14th in the skies above my house. So I'm going to take out the atmosphere right here, just so y'all can see what the sky is actually going to look like. So here is sun and moon. Mercury's also over here, and then Venus is here in Leo. Look what happens if we put the atmosphere back in. Do you see there might be a little bit of a hint of Venus? I'm hoping I can actually get that on film. If we can see Venus, I'm going to record it, and you Venus lovers are going to love that live. So I hope you all can join me. Okay, let me jump into the chart for the eclipse for Saturday. This is the moment the eclipse goes exact. So we'll be meeting about 20 minutes before. It'll already start kind of covering the sun a little bit, but then in about takes about 5 minutes the whole event for it to go across the sun. So, all right, let me get out my pen because this is crazy. There's a lot of stuff going on this day. Over here we have, oh, where did it go? Let me move this down and out of the way so I can write. Okay. All right, so here it is, Sun Moon conjunct. I would also say that the South Node is conjunct and Mars is loosely conjunct as well as Mercury. So basically we have this stellium over here of these 5 players. We have Mars, the South Node, the Moon, the Sun, and Mercury. And incidentally, in about 6 days from the eclipse, so on Friday of next week, the 20th, Mercury will be in a superior conjunction with the sun, meaning that Mercury will be completely blasted away by the sun's energy. Mars has already gone through this the weekend before the eclipse and is square to Pluto. And that energy might explain some of our world events that have been happening, but I will let you guys think about that. We are going to be high vibe on this video, okay? So here's my feeling about this stellium over here. This is the end of a lunar cycle, the end of a Mars cycle, because Mars also had a superior conjunction with the sun, and then the end of a Mercury cycle. So we basically, especially being an eclipse too, so it's part of a bigger cycle. So we have bigger cycles and smaller cycles, all basically converging on this one point in time, one point in space. And I look at this as a chance to realign our collective will. And I think we have to more than ever now. I think if we show those in power that we have no appetite for war or violence, we don't stand for this. This is not who we are, or what we do. We might be able to make a difference just by pure apathy or uninterest in war. Virgo is the region of space where energy turns into matter. There are thousands of galaxies in the constellation of Virgo. If you were to take a huge telescope and zoom into Virgo, you would see by an order of magnitude of over 100 more galaxies. Go ahead and Google it. How many galaxies are in Leo? How many galaxies are in Pisces? And how many galaxies are in Virgo? And you will see over 1,000. So this really speaks to, and if you look at the image of Virgo in the sky, it's a woman sort of laying on her back. It's the divine feminine that's been fallen. But the energy of Virgo, in essence, is energy to matter, divine, feminine, motherly service to that creative process, the duty of that creative process. And when we look at service, we have to ask ourselves in the beginning of this cycle, and this new cycle for both Mars, Mercury, Sun, and the Moon, and the nodes, are we serving or are we in service? And there's a big difference because one, you have sovereignty. One, you decide, yes, I'm going to serve you and I'm going to serve you out of the greatest good. The other one, if you're serving, then that's completely different. You've given away your sovereignty. You've given away your birthright as a sovereign spiritual being to be free. Okay, so serving versus in service. That's the biggest message that I'm getting with the alignments in the sky right now. North Node and Chiron retrograde are opposing this eclipse from Pisces. This is our collective destiny right here towards universal love and oneness. We must go here. We must. This is our collective destiny right now. This is what everyone that is aware, that is awake, is working toward. Anybody that's in a line of spiritual work, they're doing their own inner healing so that they can heal others, so that they can be part of this collective movement of universal one. And also faith, collective faith in the spirit. We've seemed to have lost that. We've seemed to have lost that along the way, where we truly believe in each other, where we truly believe in a higher purpose. That seems to be gone from a lot of folks' lives. But this is what points to it. This is where we need to go. And I feel like this eclipse is telling us this. And it's an amazing portal. The veil is lifted slightly for a time. And so you're able to, see where those energies need to go. Now, Uranus is also over here. You can't see it on this chart, but is doing a minor aspect called a quincunx. Okay, and a quincunx kind of looks like a sextile, but it's just like this. And it's basically, you identify the needs of all of this over here with the needs of this retrograde planet. And then you look for a way to draw on both of their strengths, right? So this in general to me reveals a potential for inner metamorphosis of the self. So if we come at this from the highest truth and without judgment, okay, so I know there's going to be a lot of stuff in the news. It's going to make us feel erratic. It's going to zap our nervous systems. We're going to feel angry. We're going to feel sad. Okay, and all that's okay. All that's okay, because that might be the catalyst that you need to begin this work, or that you need to help others begin this work. But truth is very important. You're going to read things that aren't true. You're going to see things that aren't true. I'm doing this with my mouse, so it looks a little juvenile. But at any rate, this quincunx to this eclipse stellium on this day with a retrograde Uranus in Aries speaks to the highest truth without judgment for the inner metamorphosis of the self. Uranus also trines on Pluto right here. Okay, this is the power. This is a power. This is a flow. The direct result of this contact here and this contact here that may have caused what's going on in our collective now points to this highest truth of that inner metamorphosis. More now than ever, we're going to be distracted from our inner selves to look out into the external world, and we will be tempted to come off of our paths. Don't do it. Stay with the power of the metamorphosis that's internal. Stay with that if you can, because that is your way through this energy. Everyone is going to be going through this powerful change. Be careful not to project these energies outward, okay? Because if you do it, it will hound you until the next eclipse season. It'll be something that you are karmically entangled with until next year. Our galactic center and the north and south nodes are creating a trine sextile pattern. Usually this energy, it's a fixed point. I don't usually aspect fixed point with the exception of the galactic center because a lot of us have stuff over here. Like we'll have our Uranuses or our Plutos or our Saturns, our moons over here in Ophiuchus. And if you have anything over here next to the galactic center, trining and sextiling on our collective nodes, more than ever, you're going to be asked to look inward and identify the truth from the ego, the truth from the false truth. Okay, so this supports the energy of Christ consciousness supporting our collective evolution. Bring that through, bring that love through, bring that oneness through. Neptune is going to do a little bit of dance with some of this stuff too. Neptune is going to also quincunx, do the same thing that Uranus did over here. And the reason I'm mentioning these minor aspects is because they're not always so minor. If you see my last video about Pluto going direct, I talk about these and they're not so harmless. Maybe when we look at collective energies, they might be a little bit more important. And when I look at Neptune quincunxing this, as opposed to Uranus quincunxing this is more of a surrender, right? You can't fight this energy. You can't fight what's going on. You can't change what's going on. But how you react to it, you can. Are you going to get all fired up like an Aryan, like a Martian? Or are you going to surrender to the truth? Keep doing the inner work, one day at a time, one step at a time. It really requires a surrender or a letting go. Because gosh, we are so attached, aren't we? We are so attached to the terrible stories that we hear. And I would challenge you to attempt to maybe not be so attached, maybe understand that these are processes that need to play out and that we need to continue this work regardless of what Pluto and Mars throw at us, right? Now, let's see. Neptune also semi-sextiles the North Node. So what's interesting about this semi-sextile, and semi-sextiles in general look like like a flip-sided version of the quincunx. So if you were to take a sextile apart, break it in half, you'd have the semi-sextile on top, and you have the quincunx on the bottom. And we just talked about two quincunxes. But a semi-sextile in traditional tropical astrology always suggests that there are two different elements, meaning it's always going to be in two different signs, which it is, right? Because everything's 30 degrees in tropical astrology, but Pisces is huge. Pisces is like 42 degrees. So you can have a semi-sextile with the same element. This is not just two different elements working harmoniously together. This is the entire element of water working together. The power of the water of Neptune, Poseidon with his staff, the ginormous waves. If you've ever been rolled in a wave when you've been surfing or playing at the beach, this is the power that we're talking about, but magnify it by 1,000. Okay, so that's very interesting. To have a semi-sextile that's in the same element of water is actually pretty fortuitous. So surrendering to the truth, just like you would just let your body go when a wave comes for you. If you're surfing, you don't fight that wave, you roll with it. So we're going to have to do a lot of surrendering, a lot of rolling with it. Saturn, who is still retrograde as well, is playing in this, and he is going to trine on our Virgo stellium right here. This looks really messy. It's almost hilarious. Saturn retrograde brings in a sense of duty and commitment to the collective to do a reset during this eclipse. We are all going to have to go through a reset. It can be a voluntary timeline jump or an involuntary timeline jump, but this is what's going to happen. So if it's involuntary to you and you know it's coming and it's coming for you, surrender, roll with the water. If you know it's coming, you have a duty to participate. You have a duty to understand that inner work, that knowing the truth of what's actually happening is super important. We have to let go and redefine what matters to us through this complete surrender. I think there's a couple more things I wanted to talk about. Yes, three more things. Okay. So this right here, I got to bring up my sweet girl Venus. She stopped and went retrograde right here in July, went this way and then went back this way and is now in brand new territory, being blessed by the star Regulus, opposing Saturn, that sense of duty. Okay, so there's going to be a will of expression here of what is truly valued, what can be gained from experience of the senses that can contribute to this overall picture of the eclipse. And it's basically balancing the uh, balancing the collective sense of duty and pride with her divine creation, with her royal, regal, queenly creation, you know? So duty versus creation here. She's now a morning star also. So she is more of a warrior. This is a warrior morning star Venus. So there's more of a will behind this kind of a Venus rather than the evening star Venus, which is more sensual and squishy. So basically, try not to be too prideful or too attached because a Saturn in Aquarius is not attached, right? That's a very unattached Saturn. Like that can happen if it needs to happen. And so I feel like the biggest source of our emotions is going to be the moon and Venus, because the moon is always part of our emotional sense, but then Venus is in Leo, and Leo is all heart. So whatever pulls at our heart, we're going to really feel that. And we might have a tendency to get too attached. So it's all about attachment here, attachment and duty. If you're not attached to it, you have no duty to it. You know, a situation that becomes clear is no longer a concern to us. So if we know the truth, we can go, okay, that's the truth, and become unattached and continue as a warrior. Now, the last two things I've talked about before, and it just only emphasizes everything I've said. Basically, you've still got that Neptune and Pluto sextiling. So this is going to be a very powerful wave. It already is a very powerful wave. And we can use this power. We can use this power to reset, to find the truth, and to use the power of water to surrender, to let go a little, and continue the inner work of universal love and oneness. And of course, Pluto T-squaring the nodes. This is going to be the third pass. And by next year, it will resolve. So I think by the time we get into Capricorn next year, there's going to be a resolution of that square, and we're going to feel that. But right now, Pluto's churning it up. He's saying, what is your collective destiny, humans? What are you trying to do here? What are you doing? And I found with Pluto, purification, empowerment, change, big change, not just metamorphosis like Uranus, but going from death to rebirth. So a collective death and rebirth. And there's a way through this that can be as minimally destructive as possible. So that's all I have for you guys today. I wanted to just get this on real quick. I have a bunch of things to do today, but I really wanted to make sure that I got this eclipse video out for you. I wanted to share with you the exciting news about my class, because this is big. I've been working on this for a couple of months now, giving myself carpal tunnel, just, going crazy. So join the Fellowship of the 13 Signs. Get yourself into this class if you want to learn more about astrology. And then subscribe to my channel, you lurkers, and then join me live on Saturday for the eclipse party. I will send out a reminder to, I guess you can put premiering or something like that on the YouTube feed. So you guys will see that hopefully. And then join me. It's going to be a lot of fun. Even if it's just five of us, it'll be great, especially if you don't live anywhere or you're not going to be near where the eclipse is. If you sit with me, I'll do my best to show you what I'm seeing. And I'm definitely going to take better pictures than what my webcam can give you guys. So I'll be posting those as well to my website. All right. I hope you guys have a fantastic eclipse and I'll see you next time. Thank you.